This is Schrodinger's video because this is part 2, but it's also its own standalone. It's related to the last episode, but it's not. Let's just do it and hope that it all kind of figures itself out. The road to Madison goes through London. Yeah, originally I was supposed to attend this event called Ride London 100. I was ready to go. I gotten in through the lottery system, and I had to cancel about 3 months out because of reasons that I don't want to get into in this video. Maybe there'll be a future video about that? Probably not. Suffice to say that I'm still sore and very broke about this. Now, this left a huge gap in my schedule, but I figured, you know, wait, I got plenty of other events that I can go to. I mean, Tour De Cure Chicago's coming up.
I don't want you to pay attention to exact numbers, but pay attention to the kind of pattern here where you have some locations that receive very little rain, meanwhile other locations receiving as much as 1.5 inches to 3 inches of rain. But as always with flooding, it's not necessarily how much fell, it's how much fell over what time frame. And the good news with this last batch is that it fell over a longer time frame than perhaps what we saw maybe Friday night.
I live in Wisconsin, and I had the bike loaded on the back of the car when my phone chirped and I got the message that the event had been canceled. Now, the thing is that canceling this event, that was the right call, because I mean, I ended up going home. I got on the bike and I went out anyway, and I got soaked to the bone. So I can only imagine how bad it was south of me. But I did get pancakes and sausage, so win-win. Tour De Cure Chicago put out some messages saying that they were going to send all the rewards and things to people who had earned them and such. And yeah, I was appreciative of that, but I still wanted to ride, because as a type 2 diabetic, one of the reasons I do Tour De Cure is to show people that, yeah, just because you're a diabetic, it doesn't mean that it's over. You can still be active. You can still do things. So I contacted Chicago, I contacted Madison, and I was very appreciative when they transferred my Chicago stuff to Madison. Now, one other thing that does play into this is that just before Tour De Cure Madison, I got a call from a friend of mine who said, hey, you want to come up and visit me for a couple days? And I said, dude, it's like a week before Madison. What are we talking about? He said, well, just bring your bike. Okay, so I ended up road tripping up there and spending a couple days near the Wisconsin Dells before the... Okay, whenever you do an event like this, you always forget something. Maybe I'm the only one, but I forgot my shoes. Okay, maybe I should show you why this is important. This is not the shoes I was going to wear, but you can see right here that little metal piece right there, that cleat. You use that to clip into the pedal so that you can get more power as you're pedaling. It's a little more efficient way to do this. Yeah, I left the shoes that I was going to wear at home. And we debated about what to do. We ended up finding a local bike shop that had a shoe sale going on for some reason, and I ended up getting a pair of nice little clip sandals. So my plan for Chicago and eventually for here was I wanted to ride my tour bike because it was going to be a little less of a distance, and I wanted to load it down fully to kind of make a point about it, because again, as a diabetic, people look at you like, you can do that? Yeah, we can ride tour bikes, yeah. So I rode basically from the Wisconsin Dells to Madison, and it was about a 40, 50-mile trip that way.
You know, for a tour bike, I spend an awful lot of time on the water.
I ended up crashing in Madison at this person's house. Yet another side note, sorry. If you're a tour cyclist, get on warm showers. Look it up, warm showers for tour cyclists. The idea is that you open up your house to tour cyclists coming through, but as you're touring, other cyclists open up their houses to you. In this particular case, I met this guy, I met his family. They were wonderful people. I was ready to camp in their backyard, and he said, well, we got a spare bedroom. Thank you. Day of the event. Early morning, cold morning. I actually ended up getting there a little later than I wanted to, and I was almost late. I barely had enough time to get my Red Rider jersey, get all my stuff all packed and ready to go, and get to the line to start.
100K is a little ways ahead of you, so good luck catching them. But remember, this is just a ride, not a race. Those of you that have ridden this ride before, please tell us what we do when we see the Red Riders. Red Riders, raise your hand. What do we yell to them? Come on, you get seriously? Go Red Riders! So the other thing that I want to make sure you know is right in front of us, one of our sponsors, Harley Davidson. They're going to lead you out. All right, let's get your ride started. Have a safe ride, everybody. 1, 2, 3, go Red Riders!
Thank you. That's T-Bone. T-Bone? That's T-Bone. My family told me they wouldn't let me go tour riding unless I had a riding buddy. So I just had a glance behind me. I am pretty sure I am most definitely the last rider in line. Then again, I am hauling a touring bike. So speed is not exactly my forte. So you know what? It's such a lovely day. Let's have a good ride. We're at rest stop number 1. We're only 6.5 miles in and we got the first rest stop. But you know what? I'm on island time. This is just casual riding. So a couple things I already learned. I've learned that T-Bone is infinitely more photogenic than me. And I also learned that I was not the last rider. I was wrong. There was a couple people actually behind me, which...
You can always count on us.
Well...
we're the last riders.
I can't top that. Oh, wow. The routes were mercifully very, very flat. They were also very long, straight shots, which is normal when you start getting into the Wisconsin farmland areas. So I wouldn't call the ride boring because I really enjoyed it. It was casual, it was simple, it was nice. Rest stop number 2 here in Morrisonville. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I am the last rider on course, at least as far as this course goes. But you know what? I'm good with that. No timetables. No pressure. No splits you gotta make. This is just riding. So in a somewhat sense of irony, on the Tour De Cure ride, I may be having a blood sugar incident. And it's entirely my fault. Because, let's see here, breakfast today was granola bars and bacon jerky. I did not partake in any of the breakfast at the start line. They had bagels and stuff, and I was like, nah, I really don't want that right now. And starting to get a little bit of a headache. Not getting the tunnel vision effect that usually happens when it gets really bad. But I mean, I'll be fine. Worst case scenario, I have gels, I have more granola bars, I have everything. But short term, yeah, I done screwed up. Rest stop 3 in the books. We're on the ride home. So we've joined up with the 100K trail. And I spent a lot of time at rest stop number 3 because, well, you know, T-Bone. Again, I'm on island time. Doesn't matter when you finish. Just enjoy the ride. One to go. And I got company. Woo, yeah! Thank you very much. Cold water? Sure. The unexpected Madison Tour De Cure, and it went off really, really nicely. So let's kind of get down to the nitty-gritty. Would I do it again? Yeah, I'd definitely do this ride again. If you're a beginning cyclist or a serious cyclist, this is definitely a ride that you want to do. I keep on harping on the lots of rest stops. You don't realize how nice they are until you do solo rides and you don't have any rest stops. So having a place to get water and food every 6 miles, it's an absolute pleasure. So I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, to all the people at the American Diabetes Association Wisconsin who did both Madison and Milwaukee on behalf of T-Bone and myself. He'd tell you himself that he's a little more camera shy than me. Thank you. Thank you all for putting on these events. Thank you for letting us ride. Thank you for doing all of the work that makes our day just that much more fun. One of the main reasons that I do events like this is because I do not want to have I don't want to let anybody have the same crappy weekend that I had. So the work you guys do is very appreciated, so thank you. Now, they asked me if I would come back and do it again, but I think they were actually inviting T-Bone to come back and do it again, honestly. I would love to do it again, but there's a thing that I have in my mind, a thing in the works, that's another American Diabetes Association event that I would love to do, but we'll tackle that one next year. Sound good? All right.